Alright, the Federal Reserve, a private central bank that is not a federal entity and has no reserves, literally a scam, is finally catching heat from the US government as their scandals slowly start to unravel as the Trump administration actively works to create more transparency in our financial system. On February 11th, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell testified before the Senate Banking Committee on Monetary Policy, and members of the Senate came out of the gate swinging, with Senator Tim Scott kicking things off by pointing out how the Fed, an independent entity that should not be influenced by political pressure, flip-flopped with their involvement in a network called Greening the Financial System, a group dedicated to green finance and climate change, joining them in December 2020, right before Biden took office, and then pulling out just last month before Trump took office. A completely politically driven move that Tim Scott said points to the Fed focusing more on climate change instead of supervision over the monetary system, which affects all of us in the United States and pretty much everyone else around the world that is affected by the supply of US dollars and interest rates, or the cost to borrow money, both of which are dictated by the Federal Reserve. It's literally their two main powers, and it is consequential to us all in huge ways most people don't realize or understand. Now, I'm saying climate change in air quotes because it was never about climate change. They don't care about us or the planet. It was all about getting rid of cash and forcing us all into using a CBDC, or central bank digital currency, to enslave and control us all. It was all about gaining more power. The very next thing Tim Scott points out is that after the third largest bank failure in US history back in March of 2023, when Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, the Federal Reserve did not hold a single federal regulator accountable. Everyone got off scot-free. In fact, no bank supervisor in the US has ever faced any consequences for mismanagement that led to bank failures. Why should we expect anything less from a blatant scam organization created by 6 of the United States' most powerful bankers in a secret meeting at JP Morgan's property back over a century ago now? Hello, I'm Crypto Casey, and in this video we are going to explore everything that Fed Chair Jerome Powell said in his testimony before the Senate Banking Committee that we should be mindful of as crypto investors during his delivery of the Fed's semi-annual monetary policy report. In the words of the infamous political puppet, Senator Elizabeth Warren,
"Let the scams begin."
Please be sure to check out our sponsors, GoBabyTrade, Uphold, and crypto wallets Tangent and Ledger. If you're not using AI, especially in crypto, you're being left behind, leaving money on the table. Profit from the volatility of the crypto markets with GoBabyTrade, an AI-driven robotic crypto trader that trades 24/7 for passive income. Watch a video review here and join the free weekly webinar to learn more. Store your money and manage crypto with Uphold, a Web3 platform that actually holds our money and crypto, doesn't lend it out, is the safest way to buy, sell, and trade digital assets, and is connected to 30 underlying exchanges so we get the best prices for crypto on the market. And make sure you own and use multiple cold storage hardware wallets. Tangent is super affordable, extremely easy to set up, takes only 90 seconds, the size of a credit card, great for beginners. And Ledger Stacks and Flex wallets have extra security layers at the best discount on the market for our community. So scroll down and use links below to redeem all the special offers they have for us. Alright, so after Jerome Powell gave his remarks, which nothing really notable worth mentioning was said, the floor was turned over to senators for questioning. So let's check out some of the things discussed that have to do with crypto and that we need to be aware of to spread awareness about the corruption in our financial system so we can try to build a better one going forward. Jumping right into some interesting action from the always entertaining Senator John Kennedy. Check it out.
My friend, our ranking member, said that you are knuckling under to the big bank lobbyists. Is that true?
No.
This guy.
Mayor Powell, your spouse, said, I got a call today from our bank, and they're debanking us. They're worried about their reputational risk because they don't like our politics. Would you think that fair?
No, I sure wouldn't. And as I mentioned earlier, I too am troubled by the quantity of these reports, and really want to understand better why this is happening. One theory is that banks are just very risk averse around BSA and money laundering, and that's because we're so tough on them and that they just don't, any red flag is enough. But it may be that this whole thing with reputation risk needs to be thought about. It's actually coming out of our one manual that we used. We're taking that concept out, the manual that we've been using for account access for master accounts. We're just going to take that out. But I think this needs a fresh look, and I think it's time for that, and we're going to do that. Well,
I've asked our chairman, and he has agreed to invite some of the CEOs of some of the banks that have been debanking people. The CEOs, yes. Not their lawyers, not their PR consultants, not their priests, them. The CEOs to come in and let's talk about this and find out what the hell's been going on.
Okay, debanking is something that has been rampant in the cryptocurrency industry for several years, especially if you work in crypto and invest in crypto. In my personal experience, I had an extremely hard time opening up a business bank account. Denied by Chase, Bank of America, Regions, Wells Fargo, Citi, Fifth Third. They refused to let me open a bank account because of my involvement with cryptocurrency. Ultimately, I did find a crypto-friendly online bank called Mercury, which has been amazing. I highly recommend them. Check them out using the link below. And then a friend of mine who used to work at Regions moved over to a local credit union. I called him up, explained my situation, and through personally knowing a banker, he was able to open a business bank account for me. If I hadn't had a personal relationship with the banker, it wouldn't have happened. So now that debanking has become more rampant over the past year for people's political affiliations, it's pretty telling that there is something larger and sinister at play, where obviously with crypto they saw it as a risk, but also in accordance with Operation Choke Point 2.0, where they wanted to restrict our access to decentralized cryptocurrency networks to trap us in their corrupt, failing fiat system. And again, crypto is their direct competition and threatens their business model. Now, banks deciding who will have access to the banking system based on political views pretty much proves that they've intended to move towards a social credit system in tandem with a central bank digital currency, where they would have complete control over our money, able to freeze accounts if they didn't like something we did, said, or believe. No vaccine, no access to your money until you get a shot. Parking ticket, can't use your money to buy gas until you pay it. You bought some McDonald's for lunch, your health insurance increases. The charge on your cell phone fell under 20%, your credit score decreases. You jaywalked across the street, your access to public transportation is restricted for 30 days. Sounds crazy, but these things have already literally been implemented in China. I mean, the UK, the United States' closest ally. People are being put in jail for posting memes on social media. So yeah, this debanking stuff is not good. Luckily, with a pro-crypto regime firing up in the US, and with the development of DeFi tech ramping up and becoming more user-friendly, we will have options to exit the rigged, failing, corrupt financial system and completely own and control our money and digital assets, which we can start doing and should absolutely do ASAP by opening an account with Uphold, a Web3 platform that provides us with a way better, safer option for storing US dollars than banks and managing crypto than exchanges. It's completely free to use, only takes like 90 seconds to set up, and it's better and safer because all of our crypto and US dollars are kept 100% there, not lent out like banks and exchanges. And we get the best possible prices for cryptocurrencies with way more liquidity when trading because it's connected to 30 underlying exchanges. And the only surefire way to completely own and control and secure your Bitcoin, altcoins, digital assets is with multiple hardware wallets. Again, Tangent is super affordable, extremely easy to set up. 90 seconds, great for beginners. Ledger Stacks and Flex wallets have extra security layers, and our community gets the best discounts on the market using the links below. Okay, moving right along, we've got Senator Jack Reed with some discussion about Trump's tariffs and its effect on the economy. Check it out.
President Trump's tariffs on China, Canada, and Mexico will obviously raise costs on families. In fact, many economists project about $1,200 per year households will be paying extra, an increase of inflation by nearly 1%. Economic growth, depression, and, for example, the increase of the average car price by $2,700. Is that a wise policy?
So I guess I ought to say this. I think the standard case for free trade and all that logically still makes sense. It didn't work that well when we have one very large country that doesn't really play by the rules. And in any case, it's not the Fed's job to make or comment on tariff policy. We, really, that's for elected people, and it's not for us to comment. Ours is to try to react to it in a thoughtful, sensible way and make monetary policy so that we can achieve our mandate.
So as we discussed in a previous video recently, which you can check out by clicking on the link above, Trump wanted Powell to start decreasing interest rates. He has not. In fact, in this very meeting, when asked about lowering interest rates, Powell gave reasons why he's in no hurry to start lowering interest rates. So without losing sight of this video, basically what very well may be at play is a Plaza Accord 2.0. where basically Trump is using tariffs as a negotiation tactic to reshape global financial dynamics with a new multilateral agreement that causes other countries to reduce their US dollar reserves, which weakens the dollar, and export prices decrease, and then interest rates start to fall. And guess what also happens when the US dollar weakens and interest rates fall? Risk assets like Bitcoin and crypto skyrocket. And these tariffs will cause other countries to struggle a lot more than the US. So we will probably see an increased demand for Bitcoin and crypto, since it's extremely accessible, liquid, global, and not controlled by any single entity, authority, person, or government like Trump in the United States. So as tariffs create more inflation in the short term, Bitcoin serves as a hedge against currency devaluation. And to compensate for inflation, Trump will likely start cutting taxes, which further boosts markets like the crypto markets. It's a chess move in a larger financial war that will more than likely have a positive effect on Bitcoin. Cool. Back to Powell's testimony with Senator Cynthis Lummis, bringing up discussion about how the Federal Reserve has behaved in the most recent 4 years. Check it out.
Ben Bernanke said something similar in 2013 when he told Janet Yellen that, quote, Congress is our boss. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, the way I always say it is that our supervision, our accountability runs through the legislative branch, not through the executive branch, as it does in many other forms of government.
Thank you for that, because I wouldn't have guessed that that was going to be your response. The way that the Fed has behaved for the last 4 years in its relationship with the U.S. Congress is to thumb its nose at Congress. Your staff has repeatedly stymied information requests from this committee, notably made by myself, the chairman, the ranking member, Senator Tillis, former Senator Pat Toomey, and others. In my experience, the Fed is a black hole. It consumes information, but it never releases it. Your fellow governors have personally misled me on at least 2 occasions with respect to Wyoming and digital assets. And in recent federal court filings, former Senator Pat Toomey has accused your staff of lying to him while providing technical assistance on legislation that passed in the National Defense Authorization Act in 2022. Now, I have behind me a statement by the Fed's general counsel, one of the staff that's sitting behind you today, who said, quote, the Fed generally resists legislative prescriptions. Now, to me, that's thumbing his nose at Congress, the very people that you and I just agreed you are responsible to and the people depend on. So this is why the American people think there's a deep state. This is why they think there are faceless bureaucrats making policy to hurt the very people of this country. Just look at the mess the Fed made of Silicon Valley Bank. And I contend that there is a lack of understanding that is deliberate on the part of the Fed with respect to digital asset policy. So the Constitution says Congress is your boss, but somehow your staff have not gotten that message. So, Chairman Powell, do you commit on behalf of yourself and the Federal Reserve staff to comply fully with all document demands issued by this committee in a timely manner?
Sure.
Do you commit to disciplining or removing any staff that are found to have engaged in debanking activity furthering Operation Choke Point 2.0 or other misconduct?
I can't make an open-ended commitment to remove anybody, but I will tell you that I am struck, and my colleagues and I are struck by the growing number of cases of what appears to be debanking, and we're determined to take a fresh look at that. In fact, I took the thing that you showed during the debanking hearing. When I saw that, we're now taking that out of the manual. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My time's up.
Nice. Lummis calling out the Fed. Gotta love it. Are they going to change up their game? No. However, with the new Trump administration, the fall of trust in mainstream media they control, and the rise of independent journalists to expose truths, the Fed will more than likely have to change up their corrupt, rigged game. And if they walk the talk they've been talking, this next clip is absolutely unreal, extremely bullish. Maybe. Check out this line of questioning with Senator Bernie Moreno.
So can I have your commitment that as long as you're the chairman of the Federal Reserve System, that we will never have a central bank digital currency?
Yes.
Thank you for that. I think that's extremely important. That makes me very happy to hear you say that.
Very, very interesting. So Jerome Powell's term as Federal Reserve Chair comes up for renewal in 2026 and will depend on if Trump decides to replace him or to keep him on. So it seems like so long as we've got Trump and Powell together, we will probably avoid a CBDC, at least over the next few years. Either way, crypto and its underlying tech is developing at an exponential rate alongside artificial intelligence. So if you're actively investing in the crypto markets and you're not using AI, you're getting left behind and leaving tons of money on the table. Stop gambling on meme coins and start gaining with GoBabyTrade, an AI-enhanced robotic crypto trader that in my experience has performed like a set it and forget it investment strategy, generating passive income almost every day. Sounds insane. However, after using it for over a year now, I've made more profit with this thing than researching and choosing which cryptos to buy low to try to sell high later. So far during this market cycle, tons of y'all have also been absolutely loving it since we first explored it together several months ago now. So definitely take 1 hour out of your life to join us on the free weekly webinar every Wednesday to learn more. Awesome. If you'd like to learn more about how GoBabyTrade works to diversify your crypto investment strategies, check out this video. If you would like to learn more about Uphold and how it is a way better, safer option than banks and exchanges for US dollars in managing crypto, check out this video. And to get an exclusive $1,000 discount off of a 3-year license for GoBabyTrade, click on the link on the screen. Like and subscribe for more. Be safe out there.